Well, I hope the government have taken a sensible judgment on this. Clearly we were moving towards a point where we were expecting Northern Rock to be sold and for the taxpayer to get some of the money back. That was always going to happen at some point. George Osborne will certainly have to come to Parliament and explain why he's doing it now, both to the main body of Parliament and to select committees. I would like to know why the mutualisation option, for example, wasn't considered. It's going for a straight private sale, because certainly the public, I think, given their view of banks, will want to know exactly how this is now going to be managed and who's going to run it. I think we need to go back to basics, actually. We need to look at, first and foremost, getting confidence back into the market, because if you talk to the developers and house builders, they will build when the market is there and they're confident they can get the price for their houses. How you fit the affordable package within that, make best use of cross-subsidy, is a much more complex picture, not least because some of the measures that the current government have brought in. We need to actually see how the bids that have gone into the Homes and Communities Agency will actually look. What's the mix in there? Is there going to be a mix of affordable alongside direct sales that meets need? And we're a bit of a way off that at the moment. I think we're in a very difficult place. We need to look much longer term. We need to look at homes as an asset, and how that asset feeds back into the wider economy. So whether it's parents supporting children to buy their own homes, or support elderly parents through care needs or their own care needs, there are some really big asset use questions that need to be asked and understood before we actually say we don't want to see any further growth in house prices. We're looking again at the whole role the private rented sector plays, and it's, I think, an increasingly important role, and it's therefore important we get good quality into the sector, and that we get investment into the sector. I'm sure that when I hold my private rented sector round table, we will hear from landlords their specific concerns about stamp duty, and I will take them away and we'll sort of discuss them with Ed Balls and his team. But I can't at this stage give any commitment on that. If I give him credit, it will be for setting up a pan-departmental view of tackling homelessness. Unfortunately, homelessness is now rising quite dramatically as a result of a range of other policies he's brought in. But I do think cutting across government departments is extremely important, which is why part of our review we're making sure I'm talking to John Healy on health, Karen Butt with Department of Work and Pensions. You know, many of the problems that have come as a result of this government's policy making have come because they actually haven't spoken to other departments. So the whole housing benefit, the pressures that's going to bring on the private rented sector, on the affordable sector, I don't think discussions were had with housing. So, you know, for me, the inability of Grant to have had those detailed discussions early enough with other government departments and actually stop some of the U-turns in their some of the policies in their tracks, I think this is his biggest failure. There's a competence thing. I think because I was coming back having been a sort of part-time working mum doing all sorts of jobs, suddenly finding myself working with somebody whose ability to write was just extraordinary. You know, you could ask him to do 3,000 words on X, Y, and Z, and he'd do it. It was just phenomenal. But actually, when he finished his first book, his first novel, not his first book, there was a real buzz of excitement, and I'd been involved in some of the external bits around that at the time. So that was quite fun. But there were all sorts of memorable moments, Dangerous Dogs Act and all sorts of things going on, as I remember. But and the difficult one was, of course, not winning the 1992 general election, after which he stood down.